Welcome to another episode of the OC Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valera. I am joined by my co-host, Kenzie Ricky. How are you today?
I'm so good. I normally watch our episode the day before we record, but today I watched it like an hour ago. So
yeah, so it's like super fresh on your mind.
Yeah.
Like super fresh. Folks, like always, we watch the episode the day or two before it. We review the episode. We talk about some of our favorite things that happened in the episode. We also talk about some quotes that we liked. And then Kenzie drops some fun facts on us as well. And then we reveal our MVP of the episode. Folks, thank you so much for the continued support of the show. It is insane the amount of people that have responded to us, whether it's Reddit, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Facebook. You guys have been super supportive, and we really do appreciate it. So, season 1, episode 4.
I feel like we're getting into it now.
I know, right?
Like Ryan is part of the Coens. Like this is the real deal now.
Exactly. You know, it's the annual ball. Ryan continues to pursue Marissa. I'm sorry, the episode name is the debut.
Yes.
It's the ball. Ryan continues to pursue Marissa. Seth makes friends with a newcomer, and Jimmy finds himself in hot water. That is our synopsis. Jimmy being in hot water. That's like an understatement. I think that's like the running theme of this episode.
That's not how I would describe the situation at all. Like,
can we?
Hot water? That's like, oh no, I forgot to do my homework. Not
I feel like
I stole millions of dollars. Like
the funny thing about this is Ryan continues to pursue Marissa. Like the whole thing is kind of backwards. He really doesn't.
I think Marissa's pursuing him.
Exactly.
Like he really backs off. Like
I want to see. Like you can edit things on IMDb. I'm going to go back and while we're watching these, I'm going to edit the description of the episodes.
God, who wrote this?
Can we talk about the opening of this episode? Like I'm 2 minutes into the episode and I already feel like I want to cry a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like. Because we've watched this before and we're rewatching it, it's like, so you see Seth and Ryan playing video games and it like is obviously such a thing they do the entire series. And I was like, my heart. And I got like really like emotional. And then Kirsten and Sandy come in, like, can we talk to Ryan? And I'm like, oh no, like, like
exactly.
Just crying. Like
we're 2 minutes into the episode and I'm already ready to just bawl my eyes. And I love the part where, you know, they're like, Seth, go away. And Seth is just like on the door, just like.
It's so cute. It's so funny. I love it.
It is. It was
my favorite part about that thing, though, before the serious moment happened, they were like, if it's about the rug, Ryan didn't do anything. And they're like, what about the rug? Like,
I love how this is a reoccurring thing throughout the episode. Too.
It's so funny.
It is
so
funny. I love whenever he goes, dude, you're a Coen. Welcome to the life of insecurity and paralyzing self-doubt. That was really funny.
It's just so funny because it's like Ryan is nothing like Seth. But he's like, if you're a Coen, this is part of it. Like,
yeah, if you're a Coen, you're going to be just like me. You're going to be insecure. You're not going to have any girlfriends. You're going to be weird.
Like, that's the life we lead. It was so funny.
We don't have options. All right, so it's funny whenever the first kind of part where she's like talking to Ryan, talking about, oh my God, like she's trying to rearrange the oh
my God, the pool house. She's like, you need this, and it was really funny as she's walking. And Seth's like, Mom, don't say underpants. It's so funny. But it was so cute because Kirsten's kind of been not welcoming, just like a little more on the fence about the whole situation. Yeah. But now that they've decided to do this, Kirsten's all in. Like, 100%. I'm going to be the mother you need. Like, it was so sweet. I loved watching it. But also, as she's walking around the pool house, where you're not like, this guy's got a kitchen, he's got a bathroom, he doesn't have to leave the house. Like, can you imagine having that as a teenager? I was like, whoa.
Pool within walking distance?
Yeah. I mean, it was so nice. And she's like, I want you to have your privacy. I'm like, if I took in a teenager, I would be like, you have to be in the house.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. Like, and that's just like that entire pool. Like, I wish I would have had something like that. Hell, I wish I had something like that now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wish I had something like that now. Like, can Kirsten and Sandy take me in? I'm only 28. Come on, guys.
I mean, better late than never, right?
Cute. And then she's like, you need a tux, obviously. And I was like, what? Like, he needs a tux already? She's like, cotillion. I'm like, he doesn't know what cotillion is. Like,
exactly.
I only know what cotillion is because I watch TV shows. Like, come on.
And the thing about it is what I love about that moment is like, it's like this super spunky moment, but it's like, she goes, it's a family tradition. You're a part of the family. And I was like, oh,
sweet.
exactly.
And I love that Seth was like, she's like, it's Newport's biggest event. And Seth is like, until next week. It was so good. Because every week so far, we've had some crazy big party, whether it be the fashion show, casino night, now it's cotillion. Like, we're establishing that every single week there will be an event in Newport.
I want to live in Newport. Just exactly. You know what I mean?
I mean, I live really close to it, and I don't get invited to anything.
You hear that, Newport? Start inviting Kenzie to stuff.
Thanks.
I love the transition there because, you know, he shows up, obviously. Luke's there, Marissa's there, you know, the big bet. I love the look on Marissa's face when she found out that he was going to be there forever.
Yeah, it was
like
so
she was like,
she got really excited, but then she tried to hide it.
Right, she's like trying to own it. Oh my god, he hit.
Oh, okay. Now we can be friends.
Like I don't care.
She's like, we can be friends. I'm like, shut up, girl. You don't want to be friends with him. Like,
yeah,
you want to be more.
Exactly. I do love the moment. You know, they're talking about, you know, some white knights, and then Seth just kind of walks up.
The way that is done is so funny. I wrote it down because it was like, Summer's like, every girl needs a white knight. And then Seth like does this weird shoulder shuffle thing. And he's like, Seth Cohen, white knight. Like, it's so good. And she's literally looking at Brian, staring him down. Like, I'll see you at rehearsal. And Seth is like, yeah, we'll be there. And I'm like, she literally isn't talking to you, bro.
She's not even acknowledging your existence.
Not looking at you. But I love that Kirsten was like, I know 2 white knights. Like,
exactly.
It was so cute. She was like hyping up Ryan the same way she was hyping up Seth, and I really liked it.
Right, like we're what, 10 minutes into the first, or not even maybe 10 minutes in the first episode, and she's been more motherly to him than the first 3 episodes combined. And
it was really cute.
It is too great. Like, she's on that same boat as Sandy is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think like once she got over like this is a big deal. And like, this is going to change our lives. She's just like, I'm a great mother to Seth. I'm going to be a great mother to Ryan as well.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we have the one moment where it's like, they said that they had to talk to them again. And then Seth goes, if this is about the vase, then.
So funny. And he's like, what vase? And he's like, never mind. I'm like, how many things in this house have you guys destroyed? Like, what are Seth and Ryan doing off camera? Like, I need it explained, because every time they show them, they're playing video games or like they're in the pool house looking at comic books. Like, they're never doing anything. I'm like, what are they doing?
Sitting there.
Like, you know what I mean? I need to know what's going down. Like, and I own the box set, and there's no special features or deleted scenes that show me what they do. Like, I need to know. I need to know.
And then we switch to like the version of Kirsten that I really don't like, and then like she's always sticking up for Jimmy. You know what I mean?
Okay, so the thing about it is like the SEC comes to Sandy's office, and they do it because they know like that way Jimmy won't see.
Exactly.
And then they cut to Sandy and Kirsten. And I love that Sandy prepped it by like having wine. Like, we need to talk. Like, he's pouring wine. I'm like, okay, this is serious. Exactly. And then the thing is, I kind of agree with both of them. Like, it is a friend that, and like, they established this way later that she's known him since like high school, and like they're adults now, and then they're neighbors, and their kids are friends. Like, it's this huge thing. And like, I understand where she's coming from. Like, this is a family friend, and we need to talk to him before we just start gossiping.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, but I understand Sandy, because it's like, those are also their friends who are losing their money because of this guy.
Who's like, this guy's ripping them completely off.
And I'm like, I understand both sides of it. It's just like really awkward no matter where you lie. But if like I were in the situation, I would talk to Jimmy first, but also be like, I'm going to warn people. Like, this isn't okay.
Yeah. Because then if you do that, what happens at the end of the episode does not happen, right? You know what I mean? Like, you can kind of avoid these type of things.
It's just like really unfortunate. Like, ugh. And then when they cut to Kirsten at Jimmy's house talking to Jimmy, and Julie comes in, and she's like, I'm going to go test drive a new Mercedes. I have to get Caitlin new shoes. We need to pay this. I need to pay for Marissa's tennis lessons. I'm like,
which credit card can I use?
And then Kirsten's face, and she's just like so uncomfortable. And he's like, I can't say no to my family. And I'm like, bro, that doesn't mean you can steal from people. Like,
I can't say no to my family, but instead I'm going to just steal hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars.
I need to know, like, the thought process of when it happened, like the first time he did it, because obviously after the first time he did it, he kept doing it. Exactly. Like, what do you think the first thing he stole money for was? Like the pony with Alopecia? Like,
birthday party, probably.
Like, what do you think he was like, shit, I gotta steal some money for this? Like, I need to know.
Julie's so high maintenance. Like, so high. Like, the highest of highest maintenance that you can imagine is what she is, right?
Yeah.
And it's infuriating. Like, she's so easy to hate. Like, I thought about it. I was like, oh my God. When that first banter that they have where she's talking about all these things she needs, I'm like, wow, this chick was my MVP the last episode, and I'm already back.
Like, can we re-record the end of that episode because she cannot be. But I do like that, like, she is so easy to hate, but she's well written enough to where I care about her as a character.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's like, that's like the thing with Jimmy though, is I just hate him, and
there's nothing.
I know he has like nice moments with Marissa.
Yeah.
But like, it's just they seem so nice because she has such a terrible relationship with Julie. Yeah. And I'm like, that's not a fair comparison.
Oh my God, definitely not, because like the thing with like Julie, she easily gets worse and worse as this episode progresses later on in the episode.
Like, unbelievably.
I was seeing red whenever she was speaking later on the episode.
Which is so funny because like as you go on with this series, her hair does not stay as red. And I'm like, the most I hate her is this season, and it's the most red her hair also is. So I'm like, maybe it was like a character thing where they paid a lot of attention to her hair color, and they were like, the lighter her hair, the more you like her. Like, the redder her hair, the redder you see her. Like,
exactly.
Oh my God, she's one of those people you just want to like strangle. Like, it makes me so angry.
I love it. I do think it's funny how easy Jimmy just lies straight to her.
It is so like it makes me uneasy. Like, it's just so disgusting. And then it's like he's so nervous later on in the episode when he lies to like one of his clients, and I'm like, why? Yeah, like, why are you that? But I guess like I can't imagine being married to Julie. So,
oh yeah, I mean,
maybe he's just picked up on how to do it over the years. Like, Marissa's like what, 17? Like, he's had a lot of practice. Like,
yeah, exactly. And that's the thing.
Maybe that's
like,
why.
It's like every word out of his mouth. Like, we've had really like that one moment with them that's been really sweet when they were talking about the basketball game that one time.
Yeah.
And it's just ever since that, every word out of his mouth is really a lie. Other than the time that he said that, you know, Kirsten's going to give him $100,000. You know,
oh my God, like, and that was like kind of like a spite thing. Like, it wasn't even like a real moment.
He was just mad he was just like, moment.
It was so funny.
And he did, and like he used it as like a throw in her face type thing.
Yeah, and that's what's so weird about their relationship is like what I remember from watching it the first time is that she is horrible. Right. And then he does this and it kind of ruins their relationship. Yeah. But watching it back, it's like they really both hated each other. We're both really mean to each other.
Yeah.
And I understand his comes from like a frustration. Like, he's tried to tell her about this. He probably in his mind is like, I'm stealing because of her.
Right.
Which is like wrong, actually. Like, she's really demanding, but like he could have like screamed at her, like, we don't have money, like, stop.
Exactly. Like, hey.
Like, he tried to tell her, but did he really? Like, did he really try to tell her? Like,
because he's like, hey, we need to talk about this, and she just blew it off, and he could have been like, hey, look, we have got to talk about this. We are broke. We have no money.
Because when he snaps at her about Kirsten giving them money, I'm like, that's 100%. How you got her to pay attention. So I'm like, you could have easily done that.
Exactly. Like, you.
But instead, you're like, don't use the Amex, use the MasterCard so we get miles. Like, shut up, Jimmy. You're not going on a trip.
Right, just like a snap of a finger, he just lied there and just transitioned the conversation. I love how Ryan literally was going over to Marissa's to tell her that he wasn't going to the ball, and then like goes over there and they have a moment, and it's just like the flip of the switch where he's like, "Yeah,
what time do you want me there?"
Like, exactly.
It was so cute. It was so cute. I just love that.
I love innocent Ryan.
I love Sweet Ryan, and we kind of get a lot of him this episode because he's trying really hard, because he promises Kirsten and Sandy, I'm not going to get into fights. So he's on his best behavior, and that's why he doesn't want to go to Cotillion, is because he has that awkward moment with Luke at the fitting where he's like, we're going to fight. And then I love that Seth is like, I mean, you could beat him up, right? And he's like, definitely. He's like, cool, just wanted to check. Like, it's so funny. But I love that, like, so Cotillion is like a thing that I've never participated in. I only know what it is because when I was in middle school, I watched it on the OC, and then when I was in high school, I watched it on Gossip Girl. Like, I don't know what Cotillion is. Yeah. But neither does Ryan. So when they get to the rehearsal, he has no idea that it's dancing. And when they walk into the room and he's like, it's dancing? You didn't tell me it was dancing? It's just like, what did you think it was? I'm like, a normal person doesn't know what cotillion is, Seth. Like, it's just really funny.
And I love his line. He said, if I would have told you we were dancing, you wouldn't have come.
It was like, so funny. Because it's so true. Like, he would have been like, no. Because, like, he really didn't want to go because of Luke already. And then, like, he definitely wouldn't have gone if he knew it was dancing.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
But one of my favorite moments is when Summer is yelling, just furious. She's like, what kind of, because she thinks Ryan's her date. And Marissa's like, oh, Ryan was promised to somebody else. And she's like, what kind of loser doesn't have a date the date before cotillion? And Anna Stern walks up and is like, that would be you. It's so great. It's such a great introduction to Anna also. Like,
absolutely.
It's our first time meeting her. We don't know who she is, but right off the bat, like, you kind of know you like her because she's like not afraid to give it back to Summer, and it was really funny.
Yeah, because she says Northrop Grumman, and Summer just goes. She says Pittsburgh. She says ew. Like, anyone not from Newport is just a disgusting human being to Summer.
It's also like really funny because I'm pretty sure that they established later on when we finally meet her dad and stuff that they're not originally from there, like way down the series. And I'm like, so why are you like this? She's like, Chino, ew, Pittsburgh, ew. I'm like, ready for Summer's character development. Let me tell you, I'm really tired of hating Summer.
It's so brutal.
I did not remember her being this horrible. So if anybody's listening and it's your first time watching the OC, please give Summer a chance. I don't know what's going on right now. This is not the Summer.
You can hate her right now, but the character she turns into is pretty
awesome. Yeah. Please give her some chance. Like, I every time she's on screen, I'm like, oh my God, I need this scene to end because I hate Summer. And it's not the Summer that we love. Like, this isn't the real Summer, guys.
She's so bad. You know what I mean?
I didn't remember her being this awful, but every time she's on screen, I'm like, first off, what is she wearing? Second off, why is she a blue eyeshadow?
Half the time she's half naked. Half the time, and she's
80%
like
of the episode.
Ditzy. She's like ditzy. You would think that they used her literally as like an eye candy, right? You know what I mean? And like, it's so bad to think that like she's this eye candy, and then understand like she turns into one of the most pivotal characters in the entire show, right? If you're watching this right now for the first time, you're like,
who cares? You disregard every scene with Summer, but I'm like, you actually can't, and it's so frustrating.
Exactly.
Like,
every scene with her matters right now, but it doesn't feel like it does.
Yeah, it's so annoying. I'm just like, whoever takes over and decides Summer gets to be better later on that wrote this show.
Bravo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love when they show like Ryan and Marissa like she's teaching him like the positions.
Yeah.
And Anna's off to the side, like big eyes, like, oh my God. And then when they like switch with Marissa and Anna, so like they're dancing, she's like, man, are you in trouble? And I'm like, she doesn't even know what's going on. And she's like, dang, you guys.
Yeah, it's funny because Anna looks her in the face, and looks Ryan and says, you're into her. And Ryan goes, yeah. And then she says, man, you're in trouble. And Ryan responds, I know. And it's just
so
like,
cute.
Like, you're right, though. A complete outsider felt that. Like this,
it's so funny because it's like our first episode with Anna. So from our understanding, it's the first time she's meeting any of them, and she just like knows. She like picks up on it, and it's really cool because like that just shows Anna's written like so deeply as Anna from the very first time you meet her, because she's like this the entire series, like time she's on.
Absolutely.
And like I really like Anna, even though she has really bad hair.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. I wasn't a fan either.
They were trying so hard to make her like not Summer, and I was like, you don't have to try this hard. Like she's prettier than this. Like, come on, guys.
100%. Like, you know, it was like you did this on purpose. Like you, like stereotyping Seth, right?
Yeah,
Seth
they did that with Anna, and I was like, you don't have to do this.
No,
like
Seth is your.
She can be quirky without having like the hair. Like
she could be hot, but also like comic books. You know what I mean?
Like, and it's like, you know, later on they let her do that a little more, and I'm like, okay, it was just this first episode you guys gave her like. I don't know what this hairstyle is, but
the only person that has had really good writing so far that's a woman is really Marissa. I think her writing has been like really good. Like Kirsten's is pretty solid, and then Julie just is Julie. But like the writing, consistent writing, I think Marissa's really the only character that has been really.
They gave us like they show you she's the popular one, but they also show you she's like hesitant about the bad side of being a popular like person, and she's also like really smart and like has interests that not like you wouldn't think she has, like her music tastes that overlap with Seth's.
100%.
So funny. But I love when they cut to them inviting them to the barbecue, and they're like, we do it every year, and Seth's like, we didn't do it last year, and she's like, yeah, we did, and he's like, ouch. Like, it's so brutal. Like
brutal moment. Just and this is not the first time, right? Like it was the birthday party the first time, and then this time. Like Seth literally lived next door to you guys, and like in my head, I'm like, Seth understands it, but like it really like could ding on poor Seth. Like he just sat at home his entire life for the first. It
makes me really sad to think about that.
Right,
like,
his first 17 years of his life, he went to school with all of these people. And was never invited to anything. Ryan comes to town, and now he's like invited to everything. Well, basically, because Ryan's invited, but like still, it
just shows like having a good set of friends can bring out confidence in people, because he was like, I'm gonna go anyway, even if you don't go, but I prefer you go with me. And I'm like, he wouldn't have done that before. Like,
no.
And it's just
this
like
is the first episode, and we'll talk more throughout the episode, but this is the first time that we've seen Seth with confidence.
Thank you, Anna.
Exactly.
But it just shows like it's so important to find like a good friend, and I wish they found each other later on or earlier on in life, because like I just love it so much. Also, like I couldn't stop laughing about like Holly, because she like is kind of important for the first season, and every time she popped up, I was like, I hate her. Like I just stop talking. Like, I get it. You have a beach house that your parents don't go to. Like, I was amazed when we met Holly's dad, because I was like, Holly has parents? Like, it's just
she's
crazy.
Like a borderline useless character, but at the same time, kind of important. It's just like, all right.
It's just like, she kind of like moves along a plot, but like, is it like essential to the plot? You know? It's
I'll 100% agree.
Ugh, Holly. Not the MVP.
Yeah, definitely not. I don't think she'll ever be that, but
no.
Okay, so obviously we had the first episode, our first scene between Sandy and Julie, right, having the conversation about Jimmy, but like it took a lot of balls for, or not Julie, I'm sorry, Kirsten. It took a lot of balls for Kirsten to walk into his office and ask him to represent Jimmy.
It's so funny because we have not really seen Sandy working. Like later on in the series, you see Sandy working, but he's always kind of like earlier in the episode when him and Jimmy were talking, he's like, late court date, got to take advantage of it. And I'm like, what can you do, bro? Like we saw him working with Ryan.
Going to work?
Yeah, he's never working.
No.
Because it doesn't matter until Kirsten needs him. But it's just really funny because I'm like, he's like a public defender. Like he does not make a lot of money.
No.
But it's like they make him seem like he's this great lawyer. And I'm like, but then why would he be a public defender? Like I understand like it was a decision on his part because Kirsten makes money and he wants to do something to like help the greater cause or whatever.
Right. But if he was so good.
Yeah, I'm just like, and it sounds like Jimmy's in a lot of trouble because it's like, it's the SEC after him. Like, it's not like it's not like one of his clients found out and is like suing him. It's like the SEC, the government is after him.
Exactly.
Like, And like they keep saying they're building a case against him, which means it's really bad. Like it's not just like here's a like your violation, like whatever.
Here's a deal.
Like they're building a case against this guy. You think your public defender husband can defend him? Like
we'll give him 2 months probation and he'll be on his way. No, this is years upon years of jail he's looking at right now. And you want a guy that really like helps 16 and 17 and 18-year-old kids in court to represent him in front of, like you said,
I'm like,
high-powered lawyers he's going to pay.
Isn't Kirsten smarter than this? Like, come on, guys. Like, it was really, like, a little bit much.
And I understand where she was coming from, but at the same time, like, for me, I don't know. Like,
and he's already, like, expressed, like, put your personal feelings aside for this guy. Yes. So I'm like, he's not going to want to, like...
No. And she gets mad as hell at him for it.
Yeah. Which, like, I'm like, are you in love with Jimmy? Like, what's going on?
Exactly.
Like, stop. Sandy's just so much better.
Yes. All right. Moving on from there, we went to, what, you pick it up?
Is after that when they show Jimmy at the restaurant?
Yes. Getting ready to pay for his...
Okay. And we meet Holly's dad, who knew that he existed. Like, I was literally like, I cannot believe Holly has parents. Like, they always say they're at Holly's parents' beach house, but I'm like, they've never investigated this beach house. Like, like, there's no way it's not completely trashed every night. Like, come on, guys. Like, what are you doing? Exactly. He kind of deserves to get his money taken. Like, no offense.
Exactly.
So, like, Holly and her dad are leaving. I also love the fact that they kept saying it was a barbecue or something, and then they picked up food. Like, I was so confused. Like, I was like, is this the same party that's a barbecue? Like,
yeah, it didn't make any sense.
Like, it was so weird. And then I also love that her dad is like, Holly's hosting this dinner for people. And I'm like, she's a teenager. Like, you should be hosting it. Like, I don't understand.
Exactly.
But then Jimmy's cards decline. It's really uncomfortable. And then he's like, it's a new card. I forgot to activate it. Like, whatever. Then what's his name? Greg? Holly's dad? So. I don't know. Holly's dad.
Exactly.
It's like, what about my money, Jimmy? And he's like, oh, we'll talk about it tomorrow. And he's like, just bring me the check to Cotillion. And I'm like, okay. Like, I obviously don't have a financial planner handling my money because I don't have that much money. But like, wouldn't you go into his office and make it a thing so there's like a paper trail? Like, it just seemed really weird to me. Like, it was a weird way to like expose
confrontation,
Jimmy.
like right in the middle of like this little restaurant spot.
Yeah, it's like really weird. Like, I understand he was like, you're not answering my calls, but it just felt really weird.
Awkward and weird.
Yeah. Maybe Sandy did call him. Who knows? Like, who knows? Because it was really weird. But also, like, when he's like, I need to pull 250, I'm like, okay, you know he has 100 at least because Kirsten gave it to him. But, like, what's he going to do? And you're, like, just on edge because you know Jimmy can't do it. I mean, Jimmy can't even pay for this food he's picking up.
Exactly. And the thing about it is, you know, that 100 went into Julie.
Yeah,
so, like, that's
Julie already spent it.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God, about 6 more horses or something like that. That's probably 100. 100 only probably gets you 1 horse out there. So
honestly, but like it was just really uncomfortable. And then like Jimmy just has this weird like Joker kind of grin where I'm like, please stop smiling. Like you're making me uncomfortable. 100%. Like he's just really greasy. Like. I know that we're all talking about Robert Pattinson doesn't shower, but like Jimmy looks like he doesn't shower.
Never.
Or maybe he's constantly sweating because he's constantly nervous. Like who knows?
Oh
but he just makes me uncomfortable.
All the time.
That's it.
Now we're at the party, right? Yes.
Yes.
Again, before we put up the camera work, like
I love
this down so much. When I watch this, it's so crazy to me. Like we're watching literally a soapy teenage drama that we grew up on.
There's like cinematography going on and like
directed.
It's like, crazy. Because the way they spin around that party, I'm like,
it's great.
Like you follow different people because the camera picks up on different people along the way. But it's like, I know the layout of Holly's beach house. Yes. Like, I know where Brian is. I know where Marissa is. I know where Luke is. Like, it's really like.
And then you have that moment where it's like, you see Marissa.
You see how far she is from Ryan.
Right. but you see them and you see them across. That's that. It's somewhat kind of cheesy, but happens in those romance style movies where you're across the room and you make eyes across the room at the person, and you're just like you're across the room. You make them eyes, and you're like, you don't even see her see like they see each other really yet. You know what I mean? The camera doesn't show, but you can tell by their facial expressions. It was like,
it was so cute.
Yeah, it was, and I love really how she was like, she was like, come here, and he's like, no, you come here, and she's like, okay, because so bad Luke's on standby. You know what I mean? Like
eating like this weird dip that he dropped all over the floor, and at that moment, I was once again questioning like how Holly's parents have not caught on to these parties, like. It was just weird. But have you noticed that they were barbecuing outside? And I'm like, what food did you pick up if you're barbecuing? I was so confused.
So confused. Maybe some sides. But you don't go to a barbecue place to pick up sides. You don't. Like
like it was weird. And then Summer is trying to auction off goods to get rid of Seth as her date. Yeah. And then this is like the first I guess like it's the first interaction of Seth being confident on his own, where he's like, can't you pretend to be excited to be my date? And Summer's like, no, like I wanted to punch Summer, and I was like, God, just be nice already. But I really like that Seth said that, because it was like she should be a little excited. Like, stop being mean to him. Like, you don't even have a date either. Like, you're in the same position as Seth here.
You're trying to sell your spot with Seth to the damn.
She's like, I'll give you Jack Johnson tickets and $11. I'm like, okay.
I love it. I love that too.
It was really funny. She's like, I'll give you all the money I have. And it was like $11. Like, and then like they cut back into Marissa and Ryan talking after they make eyes at each other. And I was like, Marissa, Ryan is trying not to get in a fight. Like,
exactly. You're literally flirting with him in front of your boyfriend. It was driving me nuts
because I don't want to be on Luke's side, but Luke is right.
100%.
Like, 100%. But he keeps saying that Ryan's all over Marissa. I'm like, bro, it's definitely Marissa's all over Ryan. Like, 100%. Did Luke write the description for the episode? Like, because like she literally, Ryan's like, I'll go, and then Marissa's like, no, stay, and he's like, don't tell her to stay. And then I was like, can you not see that it's Marissa doing this? Like, Ryan is literally trying to leave to get out of the situation.
Exactly.
But then when Luke says, don't tell her, like, telling Marissa what to do, Ryan's like, don't tell her what to do. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to turn into a fight. Yep. And then obviously Luke decks Ryan in the stomach.
Oh my God.
And it sounded like it hurt. And then Ryan's like, fell to the ground. And then Ryan stayed on the ground. Maybe he was like, my mom stayed on the ground, nothing happened, so I'll stay on the ground, nothing will happen. And then Seth comes over. He stayed on
the ground because, if he got up, he knew that he was going to fight.
And then Seth runs over and he's like, wow, you just got your butt kicked and didn't even fight back. You really are a Cohen.
I wrote that same line. That's so good.
It's so funny. It's like so true. And then I love that like Seth like didn't like Seth is the reason they went to the party, and then Seth like left Ryan, and Ryan was like, don't leave me. And it's so funny because it was the opposite the first time they went to Holly's beach house. But then they leave because Ryan and Seth are both like kind of done with the situation. Like Seth is mad at Summer, Ryan got punched, like time to go. Time to leave Holly's beach house.
And I loved so much. It's a consistent theme throughout the show, how important it is to Ryan to stand up and not let Kirsten and Sandy down, right? You know what I mean?
It's like, so cute.
It is. It's such great writing because he knows he didn't want to go to the party, really. You know what I mean? He didn't want to go to the party.
He didn't want to go to rehearsal. When they got to rehearsal, he was like, Kirsten, I shouldn't be here because he saw Luke. Yeah. And then he didn't want to go to the party because of Luke, which is driving me nuts because Ryan is so nice and Luke is trying to ruin his life. And I'm like, just let him live. And then we cut to Ryan doesn't want to go to Cotillion because of Luke.
Exactly. Who just punched him.
And then Seth kind of is like understanding about it, which I really liked because I thought Seth would be nervous to go to Cotillion. But then he's like, it's okay. Like, you're right. Because Ryan's like, this is the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Like, I can't mess it up because I want to punch Luke.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and it's important to Seth because he's getting ready to go to Cotillion with the woman of his dreams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then I loved like this whole 10 minutes. So they show Ryan doesn't want to go to Cotillion. You go in the house. Julie's like, or Kirsten's like, Sandy, why aren't you dressed? And he's like, I don't want to go to Cotillion. And then they cut to Julie, and Marissa doesn't want to go to Cotillion. And then Jimmy doesn't want to go to Cotillion. I'm like, no one wants to go to Cotillion. Like, it was just so funny because it was like all over the place, multiple locations,
100%.
but the camera just kept going back and forth. And it was like, nobody wanted to go to Cotillion. Like,
Exactly.
except
Kristen
Seth.
and Seth. Kristen and Seth are the other ones.
It was really funny. I really liked it.
I wrote this down. So Julie went from going to MVP to straight trash in one episode, folks.
Oh!
Like, her speech basically to Marissa, just, out and out saying, you need to be with Luke for the rest of your life because Luke is going to provide for you, and Luke's going to give this to you, and Luke's going to do that for you. And it was just like, and then, of course, slandering Ryan along the way. And Marissa's just like, I don't want to be with Luke, but I don't necessarily want to be with Ryan. But if I want to be with Ryan,
she's not even saying she wants to be with Ryan. She's like, and then she even brings up, she's like, I'm 16. Like, who cares?
Exactly.
And Julie's like, the decisions you make at 16 affect the rest of your life, which I'm like, I agree with.
Yes.
But she cannot be in one relationship her entire life because her mom wants her to.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, the decisions you make. If you stay with this guy until you're 26 and 30, you're already not happy. So you're going to be not happy 15 years from that either. You know what I mean? Like,
it was just like, it just shows Julie's true intentions. But it's like, I do understand Julie being like, if you don't want to get in a relationship with someone you have no future with, but to me, this could be the start of Ryan's life because he's never had this kind of opportunity before.
Exactly.
So you don't know what Ryan's going to do, or like.
Sometimes in the first couple episodes, you would feel like Summer is really Julie's kid and Marissa is somebody else's.
How did Marissa become this person? We'll never know. Like, we'll never know because like Jimmy's the worst.
Jimmy's
like,
a crook. Julie's a piece of garbage. Like,
it's mind blowing because like Marissa's really well developed as a character. So you see her being smart, independent, and it's like,
exactly.
Where did this come from? How did she? Because when we later in the series see grown up Caitlin, you're like, definitely Julie's kid, definitely Jimmy's kid. But like Marissa, somebody showed her something along the way. Maybe she had a good teacher along the way or something.
Yeah, because I mean, she does have her moments where she gets trashed and stuff like that. But when she's not doing that, she really is a good person.
Yeah, you know and I'm assuming the drinking is to deal with the fact that those are her parents. Like,
exactly. Right.
Like,
I would do
the coping mechanism.
If those were my parents as well.
Yeah. So, I would drink to forget Julie. Good God.
Absolutely. We cut to a scene of Ryan and Sandy playing video games. My heart just stopped a little bit. It was the cutest thing ever.
So, I'm trying to compile a list of my favorite OC friendships. If anyone listening has good ideas, let me know. But this really highlighted my favorite choice, which is Sandy and Ryan. I love that he's like, you keep stabbing me in the head. But then they're having, like, serious conversations about, like, life. Like, it was just really funny because like Sandy's talking about how everyone's scared of like their truth coming out, and that's why no one wants to go to Cotillion. They all like hate each other. And then Ryan's like, well, what's your secret? And he's like, sometimes when the surf's really good and my wife's not mad at me, I really like living here. And then Ryan goes, you just stabbed me in the head again. It was such a deep, serious moment, and Ryan's like, you just stabbed me in the head again. Like,
and all Ryan's really cares about is playing this damn video game and winning the video game.
It was really funny. He's like, just follow me through the forest. Stop stabbing me, and maybe we'll get out of this alive. I'm like, what game is this? Like,
exactly, yeah.
I was like, what's going on? But it was really cute. Like, I love their relationship because it's like not yet super father-son because they're just getting to know each other. Yeah. But it was cute to see them like bonding and just like hanging out. I really liked it.
It's the first time we really saw that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so all right. We go to Cotillion, and Marissa's not coming, right?
I love that they show Summer on the phone and you just think Summer's calling Marissa, and then when Summer hangs up, the camera pivots and it's like Luke and Julie staring at her, like forcing her to call.
Yep.
Which is like, I'm like, stop pretending you don't care. Like,
can we talk about how, like, again, Summer with the bad writing here?
It's so weird because, like, I think back to, like, my best friend that I had all throughout high school that I'm still best friends with. Like, she wouldn't do that. Like, she would call to be like, is Marissa, like, why aren't you coming? Like, out of a concerned way. She wouldn't, like, call and, like, let my mom stand there and be like, God, she's so annoying. Like, And then she's like,
and then
makes eyes at Luke.
Right. Like talk about that. That was such a shit move, right? Like that's Summer.
Always
Marissa,
looking to benefit Summer herself. And I'm like, this is not the Summer we know. Right. So once again, if you're watching for the first time, I promise this is not Summer.
It's bad because you really just like you hate Summer already enough through these first 3.5 episodes. But this scene right here really made me hate her.
Because now I'm like, she's not just mean to Seth or like people that are popular. She's mean to her best friend.
Right. She's literally trying to make a move on her best friend's man just for clout.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not about just getting away from Seth. It's just about, well, maybe I'm
becoming more popular.
Exactly.
Like, I'll be queen bee. It's just disgusting, and it makes me really uncomfortable. And I
literally wrote that. I said Summer bailing on Seth. She legit is awful in these first few episodes.
I literally wrote, oh my gosh, I need Summer to get better. But like, I know we needed it to happen because then this helps Seth become a little more confident in the situation.
Got some mojo.
But I hated watching it. It was so cringy.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
Especially because he kind of knew like why she was coming over, all happy that like she got out of it, and I was like, oh, like it made me so uncomfortable.
So bad. We have these moments between Anna and Seth where Seth realizes she's a big comic book person. And
it's so cute.
It's the cutest thing ever.
Because she's like, you're a girl. You shouldn't like, like you like comic books. And she's like, what is that supposed to mean? Like,
exactly. She gets so mad at him about that. That was just
it's so funny because it's like people have been judging Seth, and Seth has been like so hurt about it. And then I'm like, you're just sitting here judging someone for the same things. Like, what are you doing? Like, it was really funny to see him get called out on it, and it just like. Seth's body language with Anna is so different than like his body language with Summer. Like Summer, he's all embarrassed and slugging and like so like unsure. But with Anna, he's much more relaxed and like into the conversation. Exactly. And it was so easy for him. And I was like, bro, come on, open your eyes. Like just he should have switched dates to begin with.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. You know what I mean?
Like
it. So I'm like, I kind of. So we have the moment, obviously, Sandy is all excited playing video games. And then, of course, we go from that to everybody wants to go. You know what I mean? Like,
wait, I love that it's like Marissa goes, I'll go if you go. And then they walk down that hall. And then Sandy's yelling about ninjas. And then it's like Marissa's standing there. And he's like, what? What's going on? Perfect eyebrow moment.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Peter Gallagher's eyebrows should just have their own character card at the beginning. Like so good. But then it's so awkward because Sandy doesn't even put a tux on, which I love. No. They just roll up to Cotillion.
Yeah. This big, elaborate, expensive ball that they're supposed to go to.
And literally Sandy's wearing what he was wearing before. He just threw a blazer on. It's really funny. Like, same clothes to play video games as to go to Cotillion. We love to see Sandy.
I love how he just does not.
Only Sandy would do that, too. Oh, and only Sandy could get away with it. Just if 100%. Anyone's listening that's going to take their kid to Cotillion, I don't know. Yeah. Like, put a tux on.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you have those eyebrows, then I don't know. Maybe you can get away with it. Like, who knows?
Exactly.
But then I love they walk into the room where everybody's getting dressed, and it's like Ryan and then Marissa, and Marissa stops to like hug somebody, and Luke sees it, and he sees Ryan behind him, and he just turns bright red, furious, 100%. Screaming at Marissa. Like, if I already didn't like Luke, I'd be like, you gotta break up with this guy.
Yes.
And then he's like yelling, and she's like, don't be an idiot. And he's like, I'm not an idiot. And then Ryan is like, well, then why don't you listen to her and stop acting like one? And I was like, oh.
The funny thing about it is like, so it's like Ryan is infatuated, obviously, with Marissa, right? He likes Marissa, but he also respects the boundaries.
Yeah, right? And I'm like, can he not just listen to her? Like, Ryan got Marissa to come to go with Luke.
Right. But then the problem is obviously like Luke's ego's in the way, but also Ryan finds a way to throw in some shade.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Anyway, it's like
because I think he thought because Sandy was in the room and all these other adults are in the room that he could kind of get away with it because like if adults are around, Luke won't start a fight. But Luke is like, hell no. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, it was just really funny, and it's like he always kind of mutters stuff under his breath, like. it's just like really funny. I love funny Ryan and like, God, I just hate Luke.
And then we have a shitty moment with Summer again, right? You know what I mean? Which leads to something good, obviously. But she just thinks that Seth's going to drop what he's doing, which I think is one of the most pivotal moments in the first 4 episodes we've seen, which we see some character growth within the man that Seth is.
Yes.
Right?
For sure.
When he turns down Summer, like...
I love the way he does it, too, because he, like, looks at Anna and he's like, we're going to go this way. And it's like, really funny because I'm like, he looked at Anna like, I got this. Like, because Anna had been hyping him up in the hallway. Like,
and Anna's like, and in her head, like, Anna's probably thinking he's about to bail on me.
Yeah, because, like, Seth was sulking in the hallway alone. And Anna was like, you know what women like? Confidence, Cohen. And she's like, I need a date to Cotillion. And he's like, oh. And she's like, confidence, Cohen. And he's like, do you want to go with me? And it's like, yeah. And then they go in and she, like, is probably like you were saying, about to like collapse. I'm like, I'll go with Summer. But then he's like, we're gonna go this way. Yeah. And it's so cute. And it's like, it's so weird to be like rooting against Seth and Summer because like it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But
nothing has made Summer likable yet. So it's easy to root against them right now. Like nothing.
Them, and it's like
so bad.
But then I love when Sandy sits down at the table with Kirsten, like outside. And he's like, 500 channels and nothing on TV. And she's like, you couldn't put a tux on? And he's like, pick your battles, honey. Like, pick your battles. It was just really funny.
Like, I'm here. And I'm here.
I love the way he, like, rolled in really casually. Like, that's why he was there. Like,
exactly.
It was really funny. I just love them so much.
I love the whole scene thing. They have, when, obviously, you know, Marissa and Ryan have that moment, right?
It's so cute. Like, they both come out of the dressing room at the same time and kind of just look at each other. And it was like really sweet and like innocent. Cause it's also like, I guess her and Luke are broken up, right?
Right.
Like,
I think.
I don't know. He was like, I'm done. They didn't really like, and it was like kind of cute. Cause I was like, she just had a really rough moment, but she's like, okay, this is fine. Like, this is
good. Exactly. Like, it's like a guy that I've been dating for
9 years. Yeah. Like they said it was like 6th grade. Like, it was really funny because I'm like, that's obviously like a really heavy moment. But then she sees Ryan. She's like, cute. Okay. Like, it was really
good
sweet.
Again.
Yeah.
Another reason why she should stay with Luke forever and be married to him and have babies with him because he breaks up with her and she's all happy.
It was so funny. It's like, it's such a sign. Like, you cannot be with this guy. Like, And then when they make their debut and they show, it's really funny because like, Sandy and Kirsten don't have daughters, so like Cotillion's not really like about them, you know. Like it's more about like parents that have daughters to be like proud, I guess. And them watching Ryan is really sweet. Like it's so cute because it's like that's why I like that this episode is called The Debut because like yes, they're debutantes making their debut into society, and that's obviously about the women on the show, but it's like Ryan's debut as a Cohen. Exactly. It's so cute. I love it. It's so sweet.
It is. Of course, then we're coming up on the old slimeball Jimmy.
So it's really uncomfortable because basically like they have that moment with Marissa where he's like, I love you, kiddo. And I like that he calls her kiddo. I think it's really like their thing and it's cute. And then he's off to the side watching them dance. And he's trying to diffuse the situation. Like, I'll give that to Jimmy.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
Like, handle this tomorrow in my office. It's nothing that can't wait till tomorrow. And the guy gets really upset. Holly's stupid dad is stupid as Holly. And no offense to anyone that likes Holly. I don't know. So it's a group of people.
I don't even know if Holly, the real life character, liked Holly's character. I don't even think that's
and then like he's like, what about my money, Jimmy? And I'm like, dude, you need to relax. Like, I don't know if this guy has gone off at the open bar or something.
This didn't seem like a place where this should have been talked about. And Jimmy's trying to it is his kid.
Yeah, and it's like, and then like, I don't know, it's just really uncomfortable and it's really weird. Like, it's just like the restaurant thing. Like, it just didn't seem like the place. Like, I understand it's money and it's important. It just like, it didn't seem like the right thing. And then
Jimmy was saying like, we'll talk about it at my office, whatever. He's trying to squeeze the ball out of it, obviously, but at the same time, like Jimmy's like,
Because he even brings up, he's like, how good do our girls look? And I'm like, he really is being the adult in this. Like, obviously Jimmy's in the wrong here, and he is trying to just delay the situation. But he is like, this isn't about us tonight. This is about them. Like, you don't want to ruin this for them. And then he's like, I don't have it. And he's like, what? The check? And he's like, the money. And he's like, you lost my money. And he's like, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Like, I don't want to get into it. He's like, you lost my, and this guy like turns into the Hulk, man. He's like, you lost my money. Like, he's like freaking out. And then he like punches Jimmy, and it's like really uncomfortable because he's like yelling. He's like, you lost my money. You are a thief. You're a thief. Mad. And what makes me so mad about this whole situation is that Julie just sits at her table, does not even move, covers her eyes, and starts rubbing her temples, like does not move. Sandy gets up, gets punched in the mouth or the jaw, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then like Ryan gets up, and you're like, oh my god, don't get in a fight. Like, Ryan, like, and then Ryan like pulls the guy off of Jimmy, and it was just really funny because it like unfolded really fast. Because that guy, like I said, turned into the stupid Hulk. Like,
I
guess like he turned green, like it was his money, you know, like, but like 100%. It was just like really uncomfortable, and it really stressed me out that Julie didn't get up. It just like shows Julie's true intentions. Like she was just embarrassed. She wasn't like, my husband, like. But then it was really cute that Sandy defended his honor after like literally refusing to defend him. Like, it was just really funny.
It was funny. They just like that whole pivotal moment, and then Ryan feels bad, and
I like he's like, I'm sorry, like I know I said I wouldn't get into a fight, and they're like, I don't think this one counts. And then he's like, as your attorney, I advise you to get out of here. It was really funny. Like it was really good. And then like Anna's talking about sailing to Tahiti after Seth had like previously been talking about sailing to Tahiti, and I'm like, oh my god. And he's like, can I walk your date home, Ryan? And it was so cute. I love that.
It was a very, And then can we talk about Luke
showing up at the end
and ruining the moment?
Ruining the moment. Like ruining the moment.
This was the moment.
Because like Ryan was like taking care of Marissa, or not like taking care of, even just comforting her.
Exactly.
And they were gonna leave together, like because they were obviously live next door to each other, and he was gonna take Marissa home. And then and then Luke shows up and he's like, can I walk you home? And I'm like,
what?
And then it's so uncomfortable because then Marissa does make a smart decision where she's like, I need to be alone, because like she's been with Luke since like 6th grade. And then now Ryan shows up and it's like, she does need to be alone. Like, let Marissa make Marissa's decision
right now. It's about my dad. You know what I mean?
So she just shouldn't be alone. But she I respect. But it was just like annoying because like as someone who wants Ryan and Marissa to be together, I'm like, they were gonna be together.
Right.
Like,
you were getting all moment, and Luke was
and he ruined it. It was just really like upsetting. Like,
all right.
And then that's the end. And I was like, oh my god, I just want to keep watching because I need to know what happens next. This show.
MVP, who's your MVP?
Okay. So I actually had a really obvious one, but I think I'm just gonna go Anna. Yep. I feel like Anna had a really strong like entrance, like literally her first line is epic, and then she pumps up both Ryan and Seth.
Yep.
And I really like that, and the show needed that. The show needed Anna.
That's who my MVP was as well.
Oh, cool! I was like really on the fence between her and Ryan, but I was like, Ryan has better episodes later on.
Exactly. Like for me, it was. I think it's just the confidence that she kind of instilled in Seth that we were,
we know Seth becomes confident, but it's like we needed to see him start to
have that moment and just be, So it was nice that they kind of had, that moment to kind of boost his confidence, and without her, he would have never said no to Summer and stuff like that. So Anna hands down was. Even the 15 minutes maybe she was in the episode.
Yeah, like literally barely in it, but like made a huge impact.
Fun fact, give us one.
I only really have one. So the actress that plays Anna and then the guy that plays Luke are also in this movie called Just My Luck, starring Lindsay Lohan and Chris Pine. It's terrible. Don't watch it. But in the movie, there's a cat named Pancakes. And later on in the OC, there is another pet named Pancakes. So
that's fantastic.
I really liked that.
That's a fantastic tidbit.
It was really funny because I was like trying to find a fun fact and I couldn't find anything. And then I realized they were both in that movie together, which is really random. # watch Lindsay Lohan movies. And then I was like, oh my God, there's a cat named Pancakes in it because I used to have a dog named Pancakes who I named after the OC character.
Oh,
he was the best.
That's so sweet. All right, folks, that is a wrap on this episode. It was a solid one. There's so much that happened.
It's so funny. Every episode, we're like, this is such a good episode because like they're all just really good. They all have
my favorite. I think, and the thing about it is Kenzie and I have some. I think exactly. Kenzie and I are going to have some fun content coming out for you guys in the near future. We're also going to do a couple different episodes after we watch the first season that are going to be a lot of fun. Maybe we rank the episodes, rank the characters, rank this, rank that. You know, everybody loves rankings. I love rankings. So head on over to Twitter. Give Kenzie a follow at Ken's Venunu. Give myself a follow at Ricky Blair _. Subscribe to the show wherever you listen to it, iTunes, Spotify. If you watch it on YouTube, like, review it, do all those good things. Thank you for listening to our show. We do love doing this, but the support and the responses to this show have really made it even more fun for both Kenzie and I, because we talk about it literally all week about how these people are listening, people are responding or commenting on, you know, different social media platforms. So it makes it a lot more fun for us to know that you're watching along with us and commenting along with us as well. So until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
We'll see you later. Oh, see you later. I butchered that. I'm sorry. I'll get better. I'll get better, guys. Give me another try. That's the next week.
Until next week.
Oh, God.
Oh, man, that was great.
Oh, see you.